Let's get rid of our test circle and rectangle. SVG has a very useful group element, which we can use to group and position our elements together. Our bars in the graph will consist of rectangles and labels, so it will be useful to group them. To create a group, we use the G tag. In here we code a rectangle and give it a width of 200, with a height of 40. For the title label of the bar, we use another new SVG element, text. We position this label 10 pixels from the edge of the group and 22 pixels from the top of the group. The inner part of this tag is the text that we want to display. Now we're defining the label containing the view count for the screencast. We specify 180 for the X value, leaving us 20 pixels for the label text. We want the same vertical position as the other label, so we use 22. Again, the inner part is the text we want to display. Let's save that out, and it doesn't look great. We need to use CSS to make it a bit better. Let's get rid of all the scrap we've got in here. We're going to start from scratch for this one. Let's give our body a charcoal background. We'll target our bars by specifying that we want to style the rect items in the main element. But we could have used class rules as well. We want our bars to have a darker color. To style our text, we specify a fill color and a font rule. That looks better. Now that we've got one bar, let's duplicate it to get our graph going. We make it a bit wider than the previous one and give it different text for its labels. Now we want to move the whole bar down, the rect and the two labels. Luckily we opted to use groups, so we add a transform rule on here and move it down by 40. That looks pretty good. Let's add a third bar before we start building it with D3. We duplicate the second one, move it down a bit, and change the labels and width. Our second and third bars are the same width. That's because the third one is wider than the width of the SVG element. If we change the width at the top here to 600, you can see that the bottom bar expands. We also want our view count labels to be on the right. To do this, we do some simple maths and change the X positions for the second and third bars labels. That looks better. Good enough for us to start building this in D3.